Welcome back to the Bourbon and BS podcast, everyone. This is episode 358. Happy Whiskey Wednesday, everyone.
Hello, hello.
Sean Wilkinson, Nate Hale. We have a special guest tonight. I'm Steve Crane. And I want to show our sponsors. First and foremost are you guys. Thank you, Sean. Patreon.com/BourbonBS podcast. If you guys want to do a monthly thing for us, that is awesome. All the continued support is amazing, so we appreciate that. Helps us keep this thing streaming live and anything like updates on any of the stuff we need to do for it. So we really appreciate that. Keeps this thing kind of self-sustaining, less money out of our pockets, which is awesome. And then I also want to thank you guys doing the Venmo at Bourbon and BS for the one-time contributions. If you want to buy us a bottle, something we can't get, stuff like that, like this Kentucky Vintage. Kentucky Vintage. It was like turn a little bit more. But yeah, appreciate that as well. Bless you. Sean's got some allergies going on, right?
Yeah.
So for you audio listeners, that's Sean's fault. Thank Tinder Box at Easton, Columbus, Ohio. That's where we're based out of. That is where the featured cigar tonight, the HVC Edition Especial 2015, is coming out of, as well as the second cigar tonight is going to be also HVC for a good reason. Normally it's going to be from Altadis USA. Thank you for that sponsorship, Altadis, for the great brands Monte Cristo, Romeo Julieta, H-Up, and Aging Room, among others. Fantastic support from them. And also BS Cigar Company, the gold and silver are available. The gold is made by Plasencia, and the silver is made by Espinosa at the Lozona factory. So appreciate BS Cigar Company helping us out. And then if you guys like what you see on the screen of what we're wearing, all of this awesome garments
can be yours.
Buyjack.com/bourbon and BS for any of that stuff. You got, let's see, we got the 2020 shirt, When the World Hands You Some BS, light it up. Came up with that when I was drinking in COVID times. Pour one more, light up another. We'll figure this out together. That's going to be on Nate there. That's the podcast shirt. And I've got one of the BS Cigar Company.
And I got the Nicaraguan blue hoodie.
And you got the hoodie too. Don't need that tonight.
No.
So awesome. Thank you very much. And without further ado, I don't want to take up too much time. We are joined by a special guest. None other. We mentioned HVC Cigars. It is Reinier Lorenzo. How are you, sir?
Let's go! Miami, Ohio. Let's go.
I love the energy.
Fantastic.
That's,
You mentioned...
let me tell you, that's what happened when you, I know you guys got your whiskey, right? You got your whiskey. I told you guys like 5 minutes ago, I got to go to New Jersey, like 5 in the morning, and I got my cafetazo.
I love it.
I mean, I had an espresso before I left.
Hello, my guys.
Cuban coffee, you've got obviously coffee in there like espresso, right? And then you've got 2 packets of sugar. Is that right? Is that what you're rolling with?
Lately, believe me, even I surprised myself. Lately, I've been with 0 sugar on my coffee for the last, probably I would like to say like 5 months.
Nice.
Really?
Wow.
Because basically, before, it was basically condensed milk with coffee.
Mm-hmm.
It's delicious. Don't get me wrong.
Uh-huh.
But I say, boy, I got to cut that sugar on myself.
Every time I was served Cuban coffee, both at down in like Miami and then also in Cuba, it was just served with 2 of the raw sugar packets. And you basically, it was almost expected that you just rip them both and drop it in there. By the time you get to the bottom of it, you're like literally eating some sugar.
I mean, like I always say that we grew up with sugar, eating a lot of sugar. That's the way it is. Even bread with sugar. You don't get that water with sugar. You know what I mean?
But it's real sugar. It's not the...
Yeah, exactly. You're right. Real sugar,
brown or not brown, but you know what I mean? It's like a yellowish brown. It's the raw sugar. It's real stuff.
Yeah. You ever see those videos of there's someone at a Dunkin' Donuts that they show like, hey, here's this person's order. And it's like 20 things of sugar and 5 pumps of this and this. And then there's like 2 ounces of coffee in this 32-ounce jug. It's like there's 2 ounces of coffee and like
there's no need
24 ounces of sugar.
There's no need for caffeine.
No wonder we have a diabetes problem in this country.
Among other reasons. All right, Reinier, we are featuring one of your cigars. We did this actually at the Smoking 10 event, which you attended at Tinder Box at Easton. This is the, if you want to tell us what it is, and then we'll kind of get into that and about, you know, just about you and everything else.
I mean, like, I really enjoy right now. We're smoking you guys as well, the HVC Special Edition 2015. This is really interesting story with this cigar, right? Like, the 2015, the brand has been around for 11 years already.
Right.
So last year was the 10th anniversary of the HVC Special Edition 2015. And people, I mean, the people that never hear about that cigar, they say, well, what the special edition? So when the cigar came out, I wanted world exclusive with 2 farms, one in Estelí and one in Jalapa with San Andres Maduro wrapper from the Turan family. And the packaging was like really nothing the stuff that we're doing today. It was really a white label with golden letters and say simple HVC Special Edition 2015, Edición Especial 2015. But I wanted the cigar to do better because the way it is, the blend themselves. You're talking about a rich, to me, medium full body, a lot of sweetness into it, a lot of chocolate into it. And for the 10th anniversary, I said, I want to change the packaging. I want to create something more like really old Cuban style, the stuff that we're doing today, to get the consumers more attracted to this blend. I don't want to give up on this blend. And that to me is something that I really learned in the years. Like when you have something that you really like it and you really love it, it's like, why? Because the easy part for me would be, I want to discontinue this blend and that's it, right? I can come out with whatever name, whatever something here. I say, no, this is a great cigar. And I love this smoke day after day. And that's the story behind the HVC Special Edition 2015. Actually, I remember when I was at your event, after the event, a lot of people came out to me and say, what a great cigar. I never had it before. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. And the other thing is the price point. They were for like what, like $11, $12? What are you talking about? It's a great smoke.
Sitting $12.50 on our shelf in Ohio with the tobacco tax and everything. But to that point, that is just under, in my opinion, average price point.
Yeah.
I mean, at this point, your average price point, at least in Ohio, is going to be like 12, 13, probably 13, 14, really in that range there. So, I mean, you're coming in right at that point, which is almost more unheard of now. Everything's bumping up. We just updated prices from, I'm not going to say which company, but we went through some invoices and stuff that came in today. And I'm talking $1 to $2 a cigar on this last invoice. It was pretty wild to see.
I mean, for us, it's always like thinking about like, I know what we're doing in the craft. Like, how can I explain in this way? Like, I wanted the consumers to be available to say, let me grab it. I never had it. Let me grab it. And when they got it, they say, wow, what I got it right now. I never heard about this brand. And I really love it. Great cigar, great price point, great presentation. You can go roll with. Yeah.
No, absolutely. I like the presentation. I will say the update that you did. When did you do this update on the marketing of it?
Last year for the 10th anniversary of the brand.
Okay. Yeah, definitely. I mean, high-end look at this point with the band especially. You've got that great embossment. You've got some shine, but a lot of that kind of the matte finish as well. Who's making the band?
This one in particular, now I'm working with the guy Ricky down here in Miami.
Cigar band man?
Cigar band man. Yeah.
Yeah, he's fantastic. Yeah. He's fantastic. He does our BS stuff. We got hooked up with them through Eric Espinosa.
Through Eric, yeah.
Yeah. Because when he did the Laranja stuff for them, and I mean, there was such a good pop on that band. So I mean, I am not his detail on his. I mean, it rivals anyone else in the industry for sure.
I mean, the other thing is I like to go like simple, right? At the same time, nothing crazy around. Just the simple HVC Special Edition 2015, and then the combination of the gold and red and white. That's always when you really look the old styles cigar band.
Yeah,
like really back in the days, there's a lot of red, a lot of gold, a lot of white. Yeah. That's what it is.
Yeah, we get that a lot when someone doesn't know what they're looking for, and they're like, "It's a red band."
Cool, most popular.
Like, that's going to be a tough one. So let's anything else. All right, let's talk about you and HVC. I mean, just kind of the story, because to your point, I mean, you're not new, but I would say you, from what I've seen, my vantage point, it's like you've kind of hit a stride at this point where, you know, it's starting to really hit in a lot of the publications a little bit more and more for you. I don't know if that's just what I've been seeing or if that's what you're feeling.
I mean, like, I believe in, like, when you do something really with love, just be patient and take time, right? When I told people this year is going to be the 15 years, and myself working full time for HVC is going to be like 11 years. Because remember, I was living in Wisconsin. That's a story that a lot of people don't know about it. So when I left Cuba in 2008, I was the only few Cubans moved to Madison, Wisconsin. And I was living out there for 7 years. And actually, my first accounts in the HVC was in the Midwest area.
Yeah.
Wisconsin.
What brought you to Wisconsin?
I was working for a genetics company there. Remember, I mean, my story basically, when I left Cuba in 2008, I was 23 years old. I was never working in tobacco down there. I was in medical school my first year of medical school.
Wow.
And I remember when that's why I never want to put it Reinier Lorenzo, the name of the company.
Right.
Because I don't have any background, any history before with tobacco in Cuba.
No, makes
and
sense.
I was like, when I started the business, I was 26 years old. And I was like, why not HVC? And people were like, what do you mean? You're working for that age company, whatever, air conditioning company? What is it?
HVAC. Either way.
You know what I'm talking about, right? So, like, and it was like, well, HVC stands for Havana City. That's the city I'm from. The city, they have a lot of history with cigars. You can call them the Bible, whatever. If you don't talk about Cuban cigars, I mean, don't get me wrong with the new things that we're doing right now and the new world of cigars, but Cuba is still Cuban in this business.
Oh,
and
yeah.
that's why I want to put it like HVC stand for Havana City. And I remember my first time, I was working full time for a company like 12 hours a day. And my free time, I used to travel all around Midwest. That's when we started in 2015. The brand was growing a little bit, and it was time for, I can do this full time. I can sustain myself with that. And that's when I moved back to Miami and started doing it full time. So what you say, and really, like, I would like to say, like, we really start, like, I noticed, like, people really start more, was probably around, like, just right before COVID.
Okay.
Right before COVID, what are you talking about? Like 20?
Yeah. Yeah, 2020.
2020, 2019. Yeah. That was basically when people really start more like, because like I say to you guys before, I always believe, hey, my focus here is to make the best cigars possible. That's my philosophy here. I don't try to make anything crazy. I want to make great cigars. And always I want to make sure when I give you and I say, guys, smoke this. I wanted you, when you hear it, you say, wow, what a great cigar. That's my crazy about it. I say, like, our flavor es unique, es igual a nuestros sabores únicos. I want to make sure every time I give you something, it's something that you will say, wow. Just wow. I'm not doing anything else.
How many cigars are in your portfolio at this point?
At this point, probably I would like to say, like, just regular brands. Yeah. Regular. You were talking about probably like 12, 13 already. Yeah. And a few limited editions that we do every year.
Yeah.
And the craziness that we have in our portfolio as well. I don't want to start with the hot cake, right? In the beginning, people would think it was a joke.
Yeah.
What's going on with this guy came out with a cigar hot cake, but you forget about the pan caliente.
Yep.
Like a really popular Islam in Cuba, when whatever product sell really fast, se vende como pan caliente, right?
Yeah.
So I call the lawyers and say, like, I want to trademark now hot cake. Nobody has it. Mm-mm. You got it. Hot cake. It's a great cigar, but the name is better. You don't want to hear something funny right now?
Yeah.
Thinking about I am in Montana, right? Only probably a few cigar shops there. I'm walking in, I say, I am with HVC. Oh, never hear about it. Oh, that guy HVC. Yeah, we make hot cakes. Oh, you make hot cakes. Okay. You know what does that mean? Like that's something like
that is your most popular brand, right? Or the hot cake. Well, and you kind of did it on there. I mean, the hot cake's in the red. I mean, we've got the golden line in front of us here, but the hot cake is the bold part of it, and then you have HVC kind of in the gold, and you have the Havana City in the gold as well. So it is that hot cake just is right in your face.
Yeah, it stands out.
So I mean, I can see that.
So simple, but at the same time, like you say, just right in your face.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
Do people ever say you infuse it like maple syrup or something? Or
that's why we got it. The one hot cake, the broad leaf, the limited production that we use, the one fresh out of the oven. That one, the red is black, and everything is gold, and that one is Connecticut broadleaf, but we just doing just only like not even 1,000 boxes a year on those. No, probably like last time we did it was like I think it was 400 boxes on that one because
tougher to get that broadleaf for you, I'm sure.
Really tough, really tough on those days already. Yeah.
I mean, San Andres. I mean, that's what you use on a lot of the Maduro for you, right?
Yeah, everything we use in Maduro is San Andres.
Yeah,
the Maduro one, San Andres. Direct from the Turan family down there in Mexico. Yeah. The one that we're smoking right now as well, the HVC 2015. Yeah.
Coming from the Turan family?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
we buy directly from them.
Yeah. And so with HVC, so I met you, I don't know if you guys know this, I met you very briefly back in, I think it was 2015. Yeah. 2015, 26, I think it was late 2015 at Aganorsa in Miami. We were down there working on the BS Gold, and we were trying to expand the line. We also met with Eric Espinosa. That's when the BS Silver was made or created. But we met you upstairs. You had like a desk there at Aganorsa Leaf, and now you've got your own everything, right? I mean, you've got your own office. You've got factory.
I mean, I say this like to start with that. Like I feel so lucky to be around with a lot of people with knowledge in tobacco, and that for me was a blessing. And 2021, I got that in my mind. I say I want to have my control in my business, right? Like everything that you do in life, and I say I want to open my own factory.
Yeah.
And that's in 2021 when I opened my own factory down there in Miami. In Nicaragua. In Estelí, Nicaragua, with the first HVC Selection #1. Selection #1 because it was the first cigar that we made at the factory.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, that was the name, the Selection #1, the Maduro, the Connecticut, and the Habano, the yellow box. That's why the name Selection #1. Nice. And we still buy probably like more than 85% of tobacco from Aganorsa, but everything is made at HVC factory. Yeah, everything we produce right now is at HVC factory.
Everything.
Yeah, everything. Yeah.
Wow. I didn't know that. How many rollers? How many employees do you have now?
Right now, employees, we got like 46. Rollers, we got 8 rollers.
8?
Yeah, 8.
8 pairs or
8 pairs. 8 pairs.
Okay.
Remember that in Nicaragua and Dominican, they were white pairs.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were completely different.
Explain. So Sean, not as familiar with all the ins and outs of that. Can you explain to him and the listeners when you say like 8 pairs and how that works in Nicaragua typically? Can you kind of explain that?
Okay, like in Cuba, one person does everything. Right. When I say does everything, it does the bunching and the roller. And they do a day like 125 cigars a day. The most can do it like really well is 150 cigars a day. Yeah. Like back when they moved to Nicaragua and they went to the other countries, they were in pairs. What happened in pairs is a little faster in the production on cigars. One person does the bunching and another person just does the wrapper.
Okay.
So yeah,
that's why you call it in pairs, right?
So Yeah, you start with the bunching, you put the binder leaf on, put it in the mold.
Exactly.
Usually.
When I'm talking about the bunching, it's the guy that put it, the binder, the filler. The other person just does the wrapper.
Just the wrapper. Once it comes out of the mold, it goes to another person. They
Exactly.
do the wrapper.
So what happened here, and that is a little more faster in the production line than the one person making only. For example, in the HVC factory, they can do max 400 cigars a day. Only we got like 400.
Okay.
For 2 people.
For 2 people, 400. But I got 2 pairs that do 400. The other, they do like 360, 350, 380, around that.
Now, is that because they're doing different vitolas, or like there's like different levels you have, or no?
I got some people specifically work in some vitolas, but me, I like to work with the rollers that they can do everything. But that's difficult. Those the people they have more experience, that they can go from Lacero to a Belicoso to a Salomon, but those are like just less and less of those people.
Well, and then they also command a bit more pay too for that, the different levels, I'd imagine, right? You're not going to get
correct. Yeah.
If you're going up the scale on the level of rollers, I mean, they're going to be able to walk into anywhere basically.
I mean, and the other thing that we have, like we have a small factory. We don't have the luxury yet to train people. I would love that. For now, the people that come and work with us, we have the advantage to get their salary a little bit up because the smaller we are. But at the same point, it's like I don't have the luxury to train in there.
How often are you there?
Every month.
Every month.
Wow.
Every month you go there a week, 10 days.
Oh, wow.
Every month. Yeah, a week and 10 days.
You're splitting your time.
You have to.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, that's how you have control
And I love
over
it.
products
That's-
that come out of
believe
your
me.
factory.
To me, to go to there, it's like to go here from Miami
Yeah.
to like Orlando. Oh, I gotta go to Orlando. It's like
Yeah.
the flight from here to there is like 2 hours and 20 minutes.
That's easy.
If I drive from here to Orlando, it will take me 4 hours.
It's all relative. I get it. I get it. So all right. Since we're kind of doing the interview thing, what was the transition? So you came out of Cuba, you went to Wisconsin of all places. Are you a football fan? Are you a Green Bay Packer fan?
Thank you.
You are?
Yes, I am.
Sorry to hear that.
I mean,
I'm a Bears fan.
oh,
I'm a Bears fan, so I mean,
that happened. Remember, in Cuba, in Cuba, we don't play any football, right?
No,
So when I moved to Wisconsin, that's when I learned about football, American football.
Yeah.
And
no, I get it.
I mean, what a better land with the Lambeau Field.
Oh, I know. It is a great field, but I mean, if my wife's listening, she's gonna not like you anymore. We're both huge Bears fans. She's just, I think, a little more aggressive.
I know.
We're Packer fans.
Yeah.
But that happens. I don't know how that happens though. Between you and the Patel brothers, up there, they're all big
Right,
Packer
people.
fans.
We are brothers. They are a Packer fan too. Big fans. They are a big
Infiltrating
fans.
the cigar industry, and I don't get it. But what was the transition though? You came here, and then you moved into the tobacco. I mean, obviously coming from. I mean, why did you want to make the switch?
I mean, I remember when I say I was like 23 years old. When I left Cuba with nothing. Right? With nothing. All dreams and hopes. And tobacco was something I remember in 2009 when Eduardo Fernandez, the owner of Agano Salif, invited me to go to Nicaragua. And he showed me all the process. From like everything. And that's when I met there Jacinto, Olirio, Master Blende, Arsenio Ramos. And when you are young, and that's something that's quite weird because it's something that you say I never had in my life. And when you see something like that the first time, and like when I never was even a cigarette smoker. I remember my friends in Cuba, like 17, 19, 20 years old, smoking cigarettes. That was not me. I never smoked cigarette before in my life. The first I started smoking was just cigars. And was something really natural to me. It's so hard to explain, but like it was like just natural love. I will put it that way. Something like I say, I love this. This is what I want to do.
It's a fair enough answer.
Simple as that. I mean, because like I say, I was in medical school. My brothers and sisters are doctors.
Really?
If I don't like tobacco, I will say, you know what? I don't like this. I don't like to do this. Like that to me is something like you say, like for some people you are new, but this is the 15 years to us in the business. There's a lot of folks out there, they don't have any idea when you have your own business. Like really to go out there and show like that's coming from the heart. You know what I mean? Like nothing else. Like this is like nothing else. If you don't have a really heart in this, it would be really impossible. I would recommend you to do something else.
Especially with your travel and everything else that's involved.
I mean, like, I was talking to you tomorrow. I got to wake up like 5 a.m. I got to go to New Jersey. I got an event tomorrow night, and I got an event Saturday night, and Saturday morning go back to Miami.
Wow.
Jeez.
Yeah, you have to have a passion for it. It can't just be a side gig or
No, like say like
you can't be part-time.
No, not really.
Good question.
Yeah. Hi, Reinier. I'm Sean. Say hi, Sean. I'm a cigaraholic, and no, sorry.
This ain't that kind of meeting.
I met you at the Smoking 10 event, and I'm sure me along with many other 100 people were very impressed with your cigar. I probably told you that, and I was one of them. So I really enjoyed getting to first of all meet you. Second of all, when you guys got up on the stage and talked, I really appreciated what you had to say and what you were just showing. You could see the passion in you, like Espinosa and those other guys. They've been around the block, or you may have too, but I could see you had like just how you, when you went on the camera now, you were like, let's go. I love that enthusiasm. And I'm sure part of that sells it too, because you're very into it and very wanting to be, upfront. And they check me out. And I guess my question is I guess number one, have you like just had a boom in your with your sales and everything because of it just getting more well known? And number two, did you go to the convention? I forget what they call it. PCA. And were you able to get some more, like promote your product there and be able to be more visible along with everyone else?
I mean, like for the first question, it's more like you say, that's natural to me, right? Mm-hmm. And always I got that energy no matter what. Mm-hmm. And the other thing is more like when you love something and like always you have to keep going no matter what.
Sure.
Right?
Yep.
But the other thing, the cigars have to speak for themselves. Mm-hmm. I can recommend my cigar to you one time. Hey, but if they are not good, they are not good. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And I love when people came to me and say, you know what? I like this and I don't like that. And that's okay. You know what I mean? Yeah. But when you have great tobacco and you make great cigars, you are a winner.
Yeah, it's hard not to like it.
you know the people, you know what is the lottery to me? When I meet people and I don't know them and they come to me and they say, thank you. And I say, thank you for what? And say, you're making great cigars, brother. I love the 2015. I love the hot cake. I love the selection number 1. What a great lineup do you have? Yeah. Thank you. That to me, that's the lottery right there. Sure. That's it.
For me, it was. Sorry, go ahead. I apologize.
Go ahead.
No, I was just saying. For me, I think what sold me, obviously, the cigar itself was, out of this world. But these cigars, I'm sorry, and but it was you helped sell that for me too. I mean, I'll never forget who you are. When I see these cigars, I know your face. I know who you are, like in terms of just your energy and your passion, and you can see it. And that to me is a big sell, because you back up what you're selling, which anybody would do, but like you have that this passion.
I would like to say for that.
Yeah. Anyway, that's all.
That to me is something like I think it's something like you born with. That's the best way can I explain that, because that's natural to me, right? The other question is like I told people, like, if you want to be in this business, like full time, if you want to be on it, you have to go to the PCA.
Right.
Because the PCA is the biggest show for manufacturers and retailers and what we have today. You have the opportunity for like 2-3 days to see 100, 200 people.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know how expensive it is to see like 100, 200 people? It can be a few months traveling out there to see like 200 people.
Yeah.
And the other see you have the opportunity there to expose your brand to a lot of retailers.
Yeah.
Always I remember our first show in the PCA was in Orlando. And if I remember well, you're talking about 2013?
17? 13?
No, 13, yeah, that was Orlando. The last
Then
time.
went back, yeah, and then went back to Vegas after that.
And they went back to Vegas after that, correct? Yeah. And then New Orleans, yeah. That was my first. And after that, always every year we will be there. No matter how big as you boost, no matter how big whatever, but you have to be there. That's my recommendation, and for us, always has been great.
Yeah, I think it's the PCA has changed over the years. Obviously, it changed names, but the PCA show, I think for all the manufacturers, it's good to be there, especially your size, right? I mean, it's something that you want to be there. You don't have you have like Kunal, who will be joining us, I think, here in a little bit. But I mean, you have these growing issues where, like you said, you have to travel, you have to have representation, and you have to pick a broker rep, you have to hire inside, whatever you want to do, whatever, not what you want to do, what you can do, obviously also afford when it comes down to that. But that PCA show, it's a trade show that a lot of consumers would love to be there. And there was talk of that happening. I'm kind of glad it didn't, because there are the other opportunities for consumers direct to talk to you guys at some of the big smokes and events like the Smoking Tent event, obviously. But it is very interesting that what we've seen over the years, we don't go as a retailer anymore, just because we've established relationships with the manufacturers. And luckily we're, Brian Joyce, who owns Tinder Box at Easton, he's been around for now going on 27 years. So for us to go out there, it's tough to get out of the store. And then it's also, you use that, to your point, the travel money to buy more product, right? So we're fortunate to have people like you. You brought in Kunal, as a rep for you, and it's got to be a huge stepping stone for you to get into more places without you having to be there. But the PCA is something that it's a big trade show. I mean, they do it up right.
Yeah, the biggest.
People walking by, how many people that you don't already have appointments with, but they're literally walking by, and they literally, like, you either flag them down or they see you and like, oh, I've heard of you. Or like, it's all day, right?
The whole day.
All day. You probably can't even talk to everyone.
No, I mean, at some point, like I said, for those sites, it's like, that's why, for example, we work with brokers. We have 8 brokers.
8.
They are 8. They are in and out, working with different manufacturers as well. But at some point, like, we have meeting before the show, and they know, like, guys, we need you guys help. I need guys here too. We ask, because it's like people want to talk to you. They want to know the story. They want to know what's new.
Yeah.
That's basically what it is.
What was your breakthrough in the last going on 11 years as HVC officially? What was the breakthrough moment to you that you feel like you went from the new guy on the block? You probably still considered that in your own mind almost, but like, what is that big moment that you think that, okay, this is a long-term career for me?
Probably, I like to be honest with you guys, since the beginning, I never was thinking, because I mean, for me, it was never like, let me see. You know what I mean? Like, let me see what's going on. No, that was not me.
There was no plan B.
Yeah, that was not me. This is going to be plan A. My plan B, plan A, what it work. I was that guy. I never was in my mind like, let me see how this is going to be. Probably like 20 years from now, I'm going to do a book.
Nice.
And I wanted every detail in that book. And I call it The American Dream by Lorenzo. The Cuban guy that left Cuba with nothing in 2008. Mark my words.
I love it. I'll buy a copy.
Because it's like I say, never in my mind was like, let me see what's going on here. No, that was not Reinier Lorenzo. Thank you.
There
Because
was no dip in the toe. It was cannonball.
because like we were talking about before, I love this too much.
Yeah.
It's so simple.
Yeah.
No, I mean, at the same time, as we are so blessing, right? To do something that we really love, and it's a beautiful, beautiful business, to call it that way. I created something that I think is something phenomenal, and I share it with you, and you get back to me and say thank you. Let's go. Keep going. That's it. I don't want to do anything else. Don't get me wrong. Tomorrow, whatever, something crazy shit happen, but I don't want to do anything else.
Good for you, man.
What other questions do you have, Sean? Since I feel like you're like more of the raw, curiosity from this.
Yeah. Well, first of all, you should be a motivational speaker on the side. Number one.
Yeah.
That's book number 2.
Sorry. On the side. I'm ready to go out and take on the world right now.
Good. I like it.
No, I've been with these guys on the podcast, either here or behind the scenes, probably for almost 7 years now, and learning so much from them. And with guests like yourself, I've learned a lot, but I feel like I've learned a lot, but I still have only scratched the surface with what it's all about. But it's I don't know, man. I guess you said the PCA was great and that really helped you. And do you feel like, so this sounds from what you guys are talking, like you kind of blew up a little while ago in terms of being a little more noticeable, or a lot more noticeable in the industry. I'm looking at it as I just met you a few months ago. I'm like, this is an amazing cigar. Where's this guy? Did you just start, or where'd you come from? But I mean, obviously your plan is to maybe produce more cigars, different styles, flavors, and stuff. Is that one thing you're going to want to do, or you want to stick with what you have for now until you really crush it?
I mean, like always, in that it's for us. That's been year after year, really organically.
Mm-hmm.
I never thinking about like to go like this. I don't say that jump. You know what I mean? That super crazy jump. That in my mind, it's never been that way.
Right.
It's been like really organically.
Yes.
Like every year, like we see it organically. I want to make sure every time I give you HVC cigars, they are consistent and they gotta be great.
Yeah.
That's something in my mind. And when you see the whole process, it's a lot of steps that you cannot mess around with.
So it's you. You've got your 8 pairs of rollers right down in the factory. What's between there? Like, I mean, how are you obviously the reps that you have, the broker reps, but I mean, like, who else is involved with HVC Cigars as far as your support staff? How do you make this work?
I mean, I have like I say, my team in Nicaragua, I've been so lucky to have them down there.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's why, like I say, even on that, I have to go there every month.
Do you have like an operations manager or
no. Like, I'm going to break down Nicaragua.
Okay.
Right? I'm going to break down Nicaragua. I have the general manager. I have the production manager. I have the quality control manager. These people have to respond me directly.
Mm-hmm.
Every day, what's going on?
Yep.
Every day, what's going on? Because sometimes there's a lot of people, they don't have any idea what it really made one cigar.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
All the process that going behind to make one cigar is a lot of small details. If you are not focused 100% in it, thinking about this number I'm going to give you, right? Like 400 cigars a day, 20 boxes, 20 count boxes, right?
Mm-hmm.
The production that day put the number 3,000 cigars, right?
Mm-hmm.
How many boxes?
I don't know the
3,000 The split and 20, you're talking about like
600 boxes.
exactly like $600, right?
That's not right.
That's,
Wait, how many?
they're 20 count boxes, so divide 3,000 in half, and then take away
150 boxes
150.
150.
a day.
Took a while.
What about when you say, Lorenzo, send me 50 boxes of the HVC Special Edition 2015? But what happened? Nobody was right that day. You will give me a call to me and say, Lorenzo, what's going on with this? The cigar is not smoking right. It's not the blend. They are plow. They are tight. So what I mean, you have to be really like focused 100% and every day and basically all the details. And you have to trust your people. I smoke around like 6-7 cigars a day. I'm 41 years old. 6-7 a day. I love it. Don't worry about it. So, like your question that you guys say, you have to be really on it.
Yeah.
Every day, what's going on? I see here, I see that. Show me here, show me there. Because like I say to you guys before, and all the people that's watching this right now, to make one cigar is a lot of small details that's going behind that you have to be really on top of that. I want to hit it like 99%. And remember, the other thing is everything is made by hands.
Right.
We can use machines here. So for me in that part, like I say, I feel really lucky to have really good people down there at a scale of factory. Like that's a small factory. And for that to me, it's like I'm not really thinking about like to go this way, just organically. And the other thing, we don't make cigar for people.
Yeah, it's all your product.
We focus 100% on HVC cigars.
Right. Do you have your own building down there, or do you have part of a factory where you guys are working out of?
I rent a building there.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I know sometimes when you're starting out, you're smaller, you have that. There are like there's multiple I guess companies within the same building. Sometimes you rent like a space.
No, I just have my own building there.
Yeah. So it helps with that concentration, right? I mean, it helps with that. I love that.
Yeah.
What are you gonna say?
I was going to ask if I don't even know if this is a thing or not, but me being the novice, do other cigar reps or companies, I'm sorry, like come to you and maybe want to collab together with some kind of like do something together, like produce something? Is it something that happens even in the industry or no?
Yeah.
There's a lot of collaboration.
Think of all the collaborations like with Monte Cristo and AJ.
Yeah.
All
okay.
that.
That makes sense. Yeah. Have you done that with anybody?
So now we other companies, but we are a lot of retailers.
Okay.
We have like big retailers. They came in, Lorenzo, I want to do a collaboration with you. And we always push to them to get the HVC on it. For example, like you can say, Lorenzo, this is my 25th anniversary right now. I wanted you to make me a cigar for my 25th anniversary. I said, yeah, let's work on it. Want to put it like that? No, I mean, it's like always on that, because like for those plans, when they come along, it's more like people know what you do out there and they believe in you and they trust in you, right? And the other thing is like you need the capacity to do that and don't screw up your production as well.
Right.
Because remember, like it is not like calling today and I can say, send me 100,000 cigars tomorrow. You know what I mean? It doesn't work like that, right?
Be nice.
It doesn't work like that. So remember, you got the seed. It takes like 2-3 years to get the tobacco ready. I wish I would be like that, but if I would be like that, would be so boring.
Nate, what questions do you have?
No, I kind of like the fact that he talks about how his operation is small and how he constantly follows up with these guys that are down there all the time.
Attention to detail.
And immediately when he said that, the reason why I think that's so important is company I used to work for. Like there was a period of time before I worked for them where that oversight kind of lapsed a little bit with the people above them. And so rollers took shortcuts, got lazy. The quality control people got lazy, or, developed friendships and bias with, other friends that were rollers. And all of a sudden you've got retailers across the country calling them up because they've got production issues. The cigars are blowing up. They're cracking. They're not drawing, or there's not enough tobacco. The cigars are too lightly packed and they're just burning up too quick. And you had all these complaints, and eventually they did correct that. They got rid of those people, brought in new people to take care of that. But that could have all been avoided if someone was just paying attention on a daily basis and following up and staying on top of things. That, unfortunately with that company, they kind of got a little bit too big in their own mind and just quit paying attention to the day to day. So I like hearing that you're sitting there like every single day, you want to talk to the people that are down there and in charge.
I mean, like remember, always we're going to have problems no matter what.
Yeah.
That's the thing about life. Always is going to be a problem. Always, no matter what. But you know what? Bring me a solution.
Yep.
Bring me the solution.
Yep.
Hey, Lorenzo, we got a problem with this. Okay. What is the solution?
Yeah, you would use what do you think we should do about it? That line.
Yeah, like
don't come with just problems, right?
Problems. Always we're going to have problems. Don't worry about that. If you start worrying about that, you know what? Kill yourself. Because you're always going to have problems.
It's an aggressive management technique.
No, but always you're going to have problems.
You know what I mean?
If you start thinking about problems right now, it's like, what's going on?
Yeah.
We always have problems.
Yeah. Yeah. Especially the small stuff. They always say, don't sweat the small stuff, right? You don't want to, worry constantly all day, every day about everything that could go wrong either.
So how close of a capacity, or how close are you, or like down the line where you're going to be able to have somebody help you with the day to day, so you're not having to do it all the time? Do you have somebody that's already kind of like your second in command, or somebody that's kind of help overseeing when you're not available, or are you just taking the whole thing on?
I have that person in Nicaragua already. That I can, and I really believe in that person. I have that person in Nicaragua already. Here in the United States, for me, it's like I feel like I'm not ready yet.
Yeah, that's understandable. Yeah.
Because to me, like I say, like I want to learn more. I want to know more.
Sure.
Because this is my thing. I want to make sure when I put somebody on that position, I will be able to see every corner around. And I'm not there yet.
Sure.
That's why I'm traveling with everybody. I visit shops like all the time. And like I say, me personally, I'm not at that position yet.
Cool. Well, you're drinking so much coffee, you'll have all the energy you want to do.
Two and one right there.
Yeah. Oh shit.
What's next for HVC Cigars in this year, 2027, going forward? I know you're growing organically. You got a new release coming out.
We came out with this cigar.
Yep, there it is.
It's phenomenal.
Here, let me
Beautiful.
Let me blow you up here.
That's a gorgeous box.
It's called La Decoración.
Oh,
look inside.
Oof.
I've been smoking the whole box myself.
Gorgeous.
So La Decoración, it used to be a really old Cuban brand, like 1800s. And the brand, like the research that we did, the brand never went to anywhere. It was probably a small guy in Havana with a factory, and the brand never went anywhere. And that was probably, I would like to say, like 2 years ago, we trademarked that. And I was waiting for everything like you guys see here, right? That beautiful, like really old style, like the blend the way I want it. And this year we launched the product at the PCA. And actually, even today, we still sending orders from the show with La Decoración. Like I mean, I'm super happy with. Already we have like people reach out to us and say, wow, 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 wow. Como, like we Cubans say, de mandapinga pa'lante. Like, wow. That cigar is like, wow. I'm really happy with that. That's going to be a regular line in our portfolio. Now I'm waiting. The cigar is not ready yet. I'm going to say here in your show, probably later on, we're going to post something in our social media about the first Lancero on the HVC portfolio.
Okay.
I was hoping to release for Father's Day, but the cigar is not ready.
Mm-hmm.
And I say this 1,000 times. I'm not rushing anything here. I will never put a cigar out there that's not ready. When they are ready, we're going to release them. I was hoping, and I was telling people for Father's Day, because first it's going to be the first Lancero in 15 years in the company. I call it Only Legends. Let me see if I have a box here. No, I have the factory, the box down there. So it's a beautiful box, like it's amazing, beautiful, like for a gift for Father's Day.
Yeah.
Father's Day is around the corner.
Mm-hmm.
And the cigar is not ready. I'm really excited for that project as well, but that's limited. We were completely sold out the second day at the show.
Congrats.
Wow.
So that one is, I'm really, because Lancero is a cigar, like the funny part, you see people talking about it, but I don't remember when was the last time I walked in a cigar shop and see somebody smoking Lancero.
Yeah, it's a cigar lover's size. It's, from my understanding, it is very difficult to roll consistently.
Correct.
It's a very difficult one. I know that a lot of cigar makers love the size as well, but that's a great point. It's not the top selling size. It's towards the bottom.
Of course not. I hope they can up a little bit, because when you're talking about flavor profile, probably can be the most flavorful cigar you will smoke in your life when you have a really good Lancero. Because what happened in the Lancero, you don't have a lot of radio and the bunching. Right? So when you don't have a lot of radio, you cannot put a lot of leaf on it. And the classic Lancero is 38 by 7.5. It's a really long cigar, but a really thin radio. You have to be really careful. That's in the bunching and the precise when you put your leaf on it.
Yeah.
You pinch that thing and you might plug it.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's difficult. It's super difficult. And the other thing that I say to you, like, I don't remember when was the last time I walked in a cigar shop and I see somebody smoking a Lancero.
Even Coronas. I mean, the classic Corona size, you don't, I don't see, we don't sell nearly as many Coronas as any other size. I mean, your classic ones in America are going to be your Toro, I feel like, is the #1 seller at this point.
Of course.
I feel like when you're
Robusto,
a lot of people, when they blend, they blend for that 5 by 50 size, right? And kind of go from there, I feel like. But I mean, yeah, you're looking at Toro. 60s had their day. I think they're still doing well. But I mean, I don't see the U.S. smoker, especially, going towards the under 50 ring gauge on most things. Like, you do have your in the selection #1, you have the 46 ring gauge.
We have, like, in almost every line, we have a classic Corona Gorda size, the 46 by 558. That's the classic Corona guy by Cuban standard. I love that size. I love that classic Corona Gorda size. I love it.
That and a classic Lonsdale.
And a classic Lonsdale, the 42 and 44, yeah. And like I say, we have some cigar shop that doing really well, and other cigar shop, they don't sell Coronas. They go for more, like you say, like Toro, Robusto, the 60. And me personal, I'm not a guy that really big ring gauge cigars.
Yeah.
Well,
I remember when we came out, the first 60 was the Hot K, the Grand Canyon, and people love it.
Yeah.
That was the first 60 that we bring to the market. It took us like almost more than 10 years to come out. We are 60 ring gauge.
You almost need a 60 ring gauge these days. You know what I mean? Like, you can't go away from that. There's still a lot of momentum behind that size. I mean, obviously you've got even bigger than that, but I mean, I once you hit 58 or above, for me, I'm kind of with you. I can't. I don't enjoy it.
this is what I see around the country already. The 60 ring gauge is a size that's going to stay forever. Already is a stable size in the cigar portfolio, at least here in United States.
Yeah.
Europe is still in the old portfolio, like Cuban portfolio. Remember, like 52, it used to be a big cigar.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
By 6.
Yeah.
That used to be a big cigar.
Like,
So
I can't remember the gentleman's name. What was the gentleman that was at the 10 event from Placencia?
Ivan.
It was cool.
Ivan was in the shop during the event at one point, and he was talking to a customer who's a good buddy of mine. And my friend loves 60 ring gauge. And with Placencia, their top 2 SKUs are the Fuerte and Fuerte Colorado in that 6x60 hex press.
But yeah, that's what they're known for.
Those are their 2 best sellers. And I had said in that conversation, like, I really prefer thinner ring gauge. I love Lancero, Coronas, Lonsdales, like under 50. I really enjoy those ring gauges. And later on, he came up to me and he goes, "Hey, you said you like Lanceros." He reaches in his pocket and pulls out a Placencia Lancero and hands it to me. And I went, "Oh, I didn't know you guys made Lanceros." He goes, "We don't, but they make them for me."
I think
pretty cool.
You have to remember too. I mean, that's the whole part of this. Like, you can do this out of passion, right? But I mean, you do have. I mean, it's a business, right? You need to make the sizes, at least the supply that you have. You have to use the tobacco wisely so that you are able to sell to the masses, right? I mean, it's not always what you enjoy smoking. You know, you do have to look at the bigger ring gauge, not necessarily go full blown Tom Lazuka and go 90 ring gauge, but I mean, you got to have it out there because that's what people are looking for. I mean, you got to follow the trends to a point, right?
That's why the Toro, think about this, the Toro from the 52 to 56 as the best selling cigar in America.
Yeah.
Can be 52 by 6, can be 54 by 5.5, can be 56 by 6.5. If you go really low, it's only a small portion in the cigar market. If you go really big, at the same time, it's really small cigar market for that. Because you don't see a lot of people out there really smoke 70s.
No.
But it's a market for that already.
I've tried it and I hated it.
I think we've even seen some of the bigger manufacturers when they're releasing blends now. I mean, there was a time there where I feel like, you'd come out with a blend and there'd be 11, 12 different Vitolas, right? And I'm not even talking about, okay, now let's throw in a Torpedo, a Figurado, I'm talking about you have a 5.5 by 56, you have a 6 by 54, you got a 5 by 52. And it's like they're doing all of this. And it's like from a consumer and even a retail, especially the retailer side and the manufacturer side. I mean, you're utilizing that tobacco in all these different Vitolas. And it's like, I've noticed a lot of the more established, bigger companies, when they're releasing cigars now, it's a Robusto, a Toro, and a 60. That's it.
Yeah.
That is it. They're doing what you're doing. They're like, all right, we'll do a Lancero, we'll do a Figurado, we'll do something. That's an LE. That is something that you can only get. And you might use it as a test to see how big the reaction is. And all of a sudden that's a new Vitola that comes out as we're expanding the line. But you got to use that tobacco in a smart way. You know what I mean? You can't just utilize, you can't just be like, hey, let's do this in 12 sizes. And it's like, well, what happens when you run out of the Toros? Yeah. All that tobacco is now in these other sizes that no one is buying. And, and you're we're on back order. Buy this size. I don't want that size. I'll buy another Toro.
Well, and I think
they'll move on. It's really easy for them to do that.
I think that's what's smart. It's been a while since we've had Miguel from Crown Heads on the show, but they were talking about that when they release a new line. They do 4 sizes. They do the Robusto, the Toro, and then they do like a Corona Gorda, and then like a little bit bigger than a Toro as well. And he goes, most shops are going to buy the Robusto, they're going to buy the Toro, and then they're usually only going to bring in 3 sizes. So now they can pick one of the other 2, but it limits, they don't have to pick up the whole portfolio.
And there's been some companies that have actually tried to strong arm. I don't know if you've seen that, where they're strong arming accounts. If you're buying direct from them, you have to buy at least 4 sizes to bring on the line. And that is something where I think that's the reverse side of it. It's almost like strengthening what I just said, where it's like they've utilized that tobacco in these other sizes, and now they're like, well, you have to buy this too if you want to buy the Robusto Torrent 60. You got to buy the whatever it is. You got to buy the Corona as well. And you're like, well, Coronas don't do really well at my shop, so why would I buy that? And you're like, well, if you want the other ones, you got to buy this. It's like, well, stop forcing the hand. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You got to really listen to the audience, I feel like. And I think that's one thing I will say. One things I admire about you, and you've already touched on it, is that I feel some of the bigger companies, and again, I'm not going to name any names, but I mean, once you go corporate, that's a whole nother beast. But even the ones that are just the one brand, sometimes they've been around for 20, 30 years even, they aren't going out to the shops. They're not going to the brick and mortars. They only go to like the big smokes or whatever when they press the palms and stuff like that, but they're not out there anymore. I mean, you go even further, you go the corporate route, and a lot of the business policies are being made around a freaking conference room. You know what I mean? They're not even, they're made by people that are selling widgets in their mind. They don't have the passion that you keep talking about. They're not smoking 6-7 cigars a day. They may not even smoke cigars. All they're doing is basically like, oh, this is what the market should be. And it's like, go travel with one of your on the road salespeople to the brick and mortars, go to events, talk to customers, talk to the direct consumers, and see what they want. Stop trying to, I guess, create what you think should be the market and start listening to the market. Because I think cigars it's very unique, but also similar to a lot of the consumable or retail type industries where it's like, you can try this. This is what we think should work, but it doesn't always work when you're not in the moment of what the people, when they buy that product, cigars, especially here, you got to listen to what people want. You know, you can't just tell them what they want, especially with cigars.
I mean, always it's like, that's why it's important. Like always, you got to listen.
Yeah.
I'm not right 100%. That's what I say to you guys. Sometimes I think I come out with this blend that really like it. And I like it because I really love it. But that's okay with me when you say bad to me, Lorenzo. That brand is not doing well in my shop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's one of your selling points is that you're in front of a lot of people to allow them to tell you that. Whereas like she said is like, the corporate people don't see that. And that's where it all starts from the customer. And like, you're right there with them. I think it's awesome. I do have a quick question for you. Do you sell other, like your cigars other than the US? You like Canada or Europe or anything? Or is it...
No, like lately, no, I would like to say like probably like 3 years ago already, we start doing really more international sales.
Nice.
Like Canada, Dominican Republic, Venezuela, Macau.
How are they doing? Is it good?
EUA. Look, for them it's different. We sell them directly from Nicaragua because that's international.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Yeah, and so far those accounts, we never been in Germany. They do like similar show like the PCA they do in Europe every year in Germany, and I never been there. And people say, Lorenzo, what? I mean, all the friends and the industry, Lorenzo, why you don't go there? Why you don't go there? And this is what I always say to them. We still a small company here in the US. And we have a lot of legs to grow here. Because those companies that we sell to them, those people that made at the PCA, or they're reaching directly to us. Hey, Lorenzo, I hear about you guys. I want to have you brand here. Let's go forward with. But I see that more lately. And remember, that market it used to be like back in the days owned by the Cubans, cigars, right? So Cuban is really struggling right now and everything. And the price and the cigars are to the roof.
Yeah.
To the roof. You're right? So it's like,
there's a huge opportunity out there internationally, especially in Europe.
That's why we see that right now. And people say like, yeah, I can have this every day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
For those price points. And that's a great cigar too.
Mm-hmm.
I'll never forget what you and Eric told. I asked a question about, the price of the Cubans, and it really resonated with me. And just remembering what, and I tell other people now, is the fact that the way they grow Cubans now in terms of the soil, they don't let it
rest
rest and plant something else. You just keep. And
I mean, they really get struggling in every scene right now. They don't even have oil.
Oh shit!
You're right. The most basic thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we are power for like 20 hours a day.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
That's how bad it is right now. I hope that changes really soon.
So do I. It's interesting. The big thing about the Cuban, we'll move on from that, is that being out of the farms, and I had the opportunity to meet Hirochi Robaina and Hector Luis.
Yeah, Luis.
Yeah, they're doing it right. The farming side of it, from what I saw, and I don't know if you've had a lot of experience with any of those.
Hector Luis, a really good friend of mine, and I've been there many times in his farm.
So he does, from my understanding, they are cultivating. A lot of times they'll do the peanuts and everything else. They'll put that in the soil and everything. They're still doing things, I think, correctly from my understanding. Again, it's been since 2018 that I've been there. But it's once it leaves the farms and the Cuban, basically Habanos SA, so you got the Cuban government and now that the other half owner, if you will, once they get their hands on the tobacco, that's from a business standpoint, I feel like. That is where it's affected a lot from what you're saying. But when he gets to the farmers, they know what they're doing. We're talking generational farmers.
No, yeah, like
and they're doing wonderful things with the growing, the taking care of their land. They're doing everything that they can. But it's, from my understanding, it's 90% of their tobacco is then gone. It's purchased.
They have to,
basically. So once it's out of their hands, Habanos SA, they've got it. They're doing whatever they want to do with it, in a sense. The farmers, they're doing their thing like they always have, especially the big boys like Hector and the Robaina family and some others, and they're doing these things. It's just like they can't do anything beyond grow and
that's what I'm saying to you,
and age it and get the tobacco ready, and then 90%, it's out of their hands at that point. And a lot of people, I don't think, know that.
Those people, that's what they love to do.
Right.
That's it. They love to do that day after day, year after year.
And they take a lot of pride in it.
And they want to do the right way as possible.
Yeah.
But when you don't have the resource, what you can do about it?
They're very old school is an understatement on how they operate down in Cuba on the farms.
Yeah. Like really like old techniques, everything.
I want to bring Kunal on and kind of roll into kind of expanding the conversation. We can obviously keep talking HVC, obviously, but I think this is where we can kind of pivot into what's so interesting about what we're talking about now, even with the Cuban farmers, with what you've been doing is the topic tonight is, let me put it up on the screen if I can.
I like it when you got the nap and you don't want to let it go. You got those moments.
It's not getting hot either.
Keep going with that. You got the sweetness and the chocolate right there in the back.
That's why I have a roach clip.
So I think the topic tonight was really pertinent to having you on. Built, not manufactured. I mean, another way to say it is authenticity versus the image in life and what you're doing. So I was able to kind of, and again, why wouldn't you use something like ChatGPT to try to like really expand on the thoughts here? So I was kicking around with that, but being the transition, I think for you would be, these are premium products. You put a lot of value in the new, what's the new one called again? The new regular. Yes.
La decoración.
You put a lot of effort into the marketing behind it, making sure it looks like a premium product. But the authenticity behind it is when they meet you, when they hear you speak. That's I think where the difference is there have been, obviously in this industry, in our sister one, we didn't really talk much about the bottle. We can talk about that here in a little bit here. I'm going to bring Kunal on. Welcome, Kunal. How are you?
What's up, guys? Doing pretty good.
Good.
Got a slight break from the rain, finally. It's been absurd. So I can actually be out here with a cigar.
Nice.
Perfect. But I mean, these things, you can't rush it. You keep talking about that, Reinier. It's like you've got these products that I feel like we are in a premium industry, and bourbon's the same way, where we saw it during these booms where there's always a story. There's always this flashy box, or you go the other way and you make it rustic or whatever. But when it comes down to it, it's what the juice is in the bottle. It's what the tobacco you're using, the thought behind it. I mean, how do you balance that kind of issue of, if it wasn't a flashy box, if you just handed someone your prototype cigar blend, what's the difference in the experience?
Probably like I wouldn't really do it that, because what you see here is me, and when you see HVC as me, you know what I mean? Like I don't like I say, like I am in this so much. Like do you remember the question before when you guys asking me, like, Lorenzo, you're thinking about like somebody else can take, you know what I mean, for you and doing this, and you can see things behind the table, right? Like, I don't see that. To get your question right, because like always we want to do the right thing. And we're talking about tobacco here. We're not talking about like a cohete to the moon. We're talking about tobacco. It's like the same thing. For example, I love to cook. When you go to a restaurant, why do you go to that restaurant? Because the food is really good and you really love it and you really enjoy it. Tobacco is the same thing. When you use great ingredients and when you have the passion and love to make something like this, right?
Yeah.
That's when you say, like, I don't see other way doing that. Because that's me. That's the way I want it. That's the way I feel. And remember, and this business is really personal. We are not talking about here corporate, like big business. You're talking about cigar business. It's so small at the same time. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean?
I do.
For me, it's like
in contrast, though, what you see, we keep it on the cigar industry, but like just in general too, I think you know what I'm talking about when you see the difference from call them other brands, I'm not going to say competitors or whatever in the industry, where you see, I feel like it is more, it's not the manufacturing as far as the product, right? It's more just selling an image. It's selling this lifestyle versus what I feel like you've discussed tonight, where it's going to be more, this is me, this is the passion, this is all this. You know, it gets to the point where you have competitors out there in your industry, and this happens in all industries, where it's almost like they're selling an image versus like that's the product. It doesn't matter necessarily. They're selling the packaging, they're selling the image, they're selling the experience. You talk about restaurants is a great one. A lot of people go in there for the ambiance. They go in there to be seen. They go in there because it's like that's a great place to. You've heard it's like a cool place, but then when you eat the food, you're like, that wasn't worth the bill. When the bill comes at the end, you're like, this is a really pretty restaurant. But
we never really looking that way in our business. Like, to me, the most important thing got to be here. And remember, the HVC Havana City, we spend a lot of time to design the boxes and the brand like simple, but at the same time beautiful. I want to show you something unique, something classic. Yeah. And then when you light it up and you hit it, you are like, wow, he was right. So we never really look at that way. I don't even think really about other business people. That's not my business.
Yeah.
We really focus, like, believe me, like when I say like I am like a horse and like training.
Got the blinders
for the Kentucky Derby.
Yes.
Because
you got the blinders on.
I don't have really time for whatever. To me, it's like every day when I wake up, I go to the gym like 5 in the morning. And after that, just I am here at the office. What's going on? What's next?
It's interesting talking to him about this because it is like, it seems so pure.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's why I'm kind of trying to bring in outside of that. And Kunal, I know you've been out in a lot of these, different events and you've been around different reps and different manufacturers. I'm not trying to take it away from what HVC is doing, but it's I think it's not every product in our industry is as pure as what's coming across from HVC.
No, like
I think it's more,
for me as a go. Sorry, finish your thought.
I was gonna say that's the whole thing. It's like what you're doing. That's why I like this topic. Is that like you have talked the first part of the show, Reinier, is that it's built. Where I feel like there are other people that have gone the route of you, where you started kind of on, like you said, you dabble, right? He didn't dabble. Other people kind of dabble. They come up with an image. They come up with a story. You already hit it on the head where you're like, I didn't want to put my name on it because I don't have the history. Like I don't have the family history. I don't want to put Lorenzo Cigars on there because who cares about Lorenzo Cigars? You know what I mean? Like,
exactly.
there's no history there. You're making it. But I think there are other brands out there that they try to catch that hook, right? I mean, Kunal, I know you've been approached by other companies even that you probably kind of turned down after looking into it. You're like, yeah, I mean, it's pretty boxes. It's a cool story that probably isn't true.
Well, you notice how small
the cigars aren't that great, and they're really pricey because it's obvious that you're not making them, and you want to get your extra couple bucks per cigar because you want to make a quick buck.
Yeah, for me, even just as a consumer, and I find it interesting because I talk with a lot of people about how this type of mentality generally permeates the way that someone approaches all things that they tend to be involved in. If you're, a wine guy or a bourbon guy or a coffee person, audio speakers, whatever it is. Like for me, once you kind of run through the gamut of a lot of the mainstays, you kind of get this feeling of like, all right, here's kind of what the industry of whatever it is telling me is the general product of the bell curve. And then what is it that really makes something stand out? And the more you learn about how the cigar industry specifically works, the things that make certain brands stand out are when someone like Reinier, he's putting in the time and the effort, beginning to end. He's not just picking a number out of a catalog. He's not trying to, like you said, come up with the prettiest box and put a fancy logo on the band just because of that. And then there's no merit behind it. There's a lot of companies and brands that I feel like, and I agree with you, that is what they're doing. But then when the first time I smoked an HVC cigar, I didn't know any of the stories. I didn't hear any interviews. I didn't see any, documentaries or podcasts or Instagram reels. I just saw a cigar that came from Nicaragua with some tobacco that I personally generally liked. I tried it out and it blew me away. It was a very enjoyable experience. And from then I go, okay, well, let me try the rest of the line and let me see what that's like. And then when you start doing that, when you have smoked so many cigars, then you go, oh, like you can tell that there's an identity here. And the reason that identity comes through on the end product is because of the people that are behind it, that are doing it with the intention of that. So it's not just, oh, we're going to make some decent cigars with some random Nicaraguan tobacco and put it in a fancy box. We're going to really get behind it and try to create an identity. I feel that effort has come through for me, which is what made me such a big fan of the brand many, many years ago. And to your point, me as a rep working with multiple companies, I don't need to work with any brands that I don't personally enjoy. And I find that the brands that I personally enjoy, there's some merit behind what they're doing for one reason or another. Not everyone is the same, but because they're making the effort and they're not just trying to force it out there, they didn't come from some other industry where they made a bunch of money and then said, I'm going to do this for fun. I don't really care if I don't make any money with my brand, and just kind of force it that way. That's not really my vibe either. And I feel like because the product is not good when you do that, the product at the end result is the tobacco and the person behind it. So that's kind of where it lies for me.
Yeah, I think one of the things I like about HVC Cigars, to touch on that, is that there have been a lot of, I don't want to call them flash in the pan type efforts by cigar brands, not manufacturers, but cigar brands. Right. And they come out and they are intentionally expensive. They're intentionally, like they sell that image. And the one thing that you touched on really early on here in this show is that the price point. Like you're trying to get it in the hands of consumers. You want them to enjoy what you're putting out there. The tobacco itself, you're basically not saying, like, you're not. I guess what the point I'm trying to really get across is that there are a lot of ways to do it. What I think HVC is doing is something that has been a tried and true success story over the years. When the product is good, you're not trying to put dollars on the price of it for the image. You're not selling something at a higher price point just because you think that will sell it. You're selling a product that you believe in, that it is you, that it is something where you're like, this is an average price cigar that is an excellent cigar. Because you could easily come out, if you wanted to, with an HVC Edition Especial 2015. This is a special cigar. You know, I really believe in this. MSRP is $29.99.
I mean, like,
because you know, people, you know, companies do that.
I say that I can come out with a cigar and I will put it like $100 cigar.
Right.
Right? Don't get me wrong. Maybe tomorrow I can come out with a story and say that's $100 cigar.
Yeah.
But because if I do that, I really believe that cigar will really be really $100 cigar. And gotta be something. I know the price of tobacco, like right now with the factory, it's like when you have the control of the factory, you know the pennies. You know what I mean, right? You know the pennies. So like thinking about like everything in life, like the cigars always is up. When I came out to the business, the sweet spot was between 6 and 10. But in Nicaragua, everything is up right now too. The tobacco is more expensive now. The labor is more expensive now, like 10 years ago. That's why today you see, like I can say, the spot here can be like from $11 to $15. That's the sweet spot that I see everywhere today. But I was in Mexico a few years ago, even before Cuba went with the high prices, right? The Cohiba Siglo VI, my favorite cigar from Cuba, was like $26. And the Cuba portfolio, that was one of the most expensive cigar in the Cuban portfolio. Today, that cigar can cost you around $100 and $150.
Yeah.
That cigar, at 25 count boxes, can cost you $3,000.
Yeah. Same cigar.
Same cigar.
Same tobacco.
The Cohiba Siglo VI, the 52 by 578, the cañonazo size.
And they're still selling, right?
Now,
what happened is because the production went down big time. And they need the money. Imagine if I'm making right now 10 cigars a day. I will close the factory. I don't want to charge you $1,000 for a cigar. I don't want it.
Do you think that the Cubans, that this price point, what they're doing, will eventually like pop and then like eventually go down, or you think that sky's the limit for them?
It's a lot of things really involved. They really struggle, like I said before, in anything. And the other thing, talking about in the cigar world, they really want to separate themselves from the rest. The people that don't smoke cigars, they want to smoke Cubans.
If you got the money.
well, the Cuban market, I mean, that's a great point with this, is because I feel like that the Cuban market was built over generations. I mean, that's some of the, you know, the like, for example, I brought up earlier, the Robanian family, Hirochi's 5th generation. You know, the 1800s is when that started, right? So that's, I think it's interesting to see that with the fact that Imperial sold, you know, to the Chinese company for the, if call it 49%, because I don't think the Cuban government's going to give up the 51. But I mean, you got the 49, and they looked at it and they're like, well, they're selling. A lot of people are traveling and bringing them back to the Hong Kong market, where the Hong Kong market is extraordinarily high. If you're in Havana, you can buy them for like a single 6. If I recall, they were even less expensive in Havana at the time, you know, than $26. I mean, it was slightly lower than that, but it's like overnight. That's kind of the great point of this, is that because they did it from a business model, like, hey, these people are buying them, they're bringing them back to Hong Kong, you know, business people and travelers and all this stuff. They're traveling to Europe, they're traveling to Havana, they're doing all this stuff. They're buying boxes at the cheaper price and they're bringing them back. And at one point that you weren't supposed to bring back more than like 100 cigars, but that was obviously being exceeded by a lot. So their genius idea, and this is a business thing where it's like, hey, you know how we can make more money? Let's just raise prices.
Yeah.
And so that's what they did. So right now, the first full year after they had really increased the prices, guess what? Revenue is sky high. They did it.
Because they're still selling out. I mean, all of their cigars are essentially pre-sold because of the reputation that has been achieved over so many years ago. It doesn't matter that the current quality doesn't match the reputation that they were built upon. And you have these people, like you say, in Hong Kong and overseas that have significantly more money than even those individuals that have high discretionary incomes to begin with. So all of your cigars are essentially pre-sold to a market of people that are already paying 5 times more than average market value. If you're a company, which in this case they are, why would you not do that? It doesn't matter whether you increase the price. Your production stays the same. If not, to Rainier's point, it's less than what they were making, but they're already pre-sold. It doesn't matter whether they, you know, change the price or not. So until people stop buying them, there's no way the price is ever going to go back down.
And the other things, probably they were never thinking about, like Nicaragua would be when it's Nicaragua today.
Right.
Because like 25, 30 years ago, really nobody was talking about Nicaragua.
Right.
Right? And look, today, Nicaragua is La Meca.
Yes.
Today, Nicaragua is La Meca in the cigar world. Today.
This is a little outdated numbers. This is going back probably around that 2020, before that 2019. The stats were basically Cuba was able to, and it was down at the time, they were able to export about 120 million cigars. The U.S. alone had that same year had imported premium cigars from Dominican, from Nicaragua, from Honduras. Nicaragua was the top as far as that, over 300 million cigars.
Yeah.
So that was one of those talking points that we had all the time, where it was like, oh, if Cuban cigars came in, they're like, oh, like it wouldn't work.
No,
the math doesn't add up. So that's kind of this whole thing. They've manufactured this. What is the long-term effect of that? When you do that with any industry, with any product, when you say, hey, we're going to raise prices, year one's going to be fantastic because they're buying those. But you had even touched on that earlier with like you now going internationally with HVC cigars. There's this huge gap. Everything that we hear now is you go to Canada, you go to Europe, you know, like Spain was a huge country for Cuban cigars. It was like the number one, right? They were getting the grade A shit, right? So they now you go into even a Habano Zest, a Casa del Habano, or some of the ones in like London, JJ Fox. There's no, like when we hear they don't have many cigars. You can't get Cubans because they're not even getting them anymore because
even in Hong Kong right now
they're already sold. So now you have these shelves that are just waiting for, say, Nicaraguan cigars or Dominican cigars. There's this huge gap out there. Wow. So you fast forward, say, past this little boom for the Cuban, like they got their money now. But what happens when you go into a store in London? You go to a store in Spain, right, where there used to be Cuban dominant. That's all they had in there. And now you see HVC cigars. And they have some Cubans for $120. And they have an HVC, depending on how it all works with their costs of being sold there. But it's like, and you have a $20 HVC, and people start being like, "Well, I'll give it a shot," and they smoke it. They're like, "Holy shit!"
Yeah,
this is better than what I've been smoking, and I've been paying
already
50 to 100. Yeah, I mean it's happening now, right?
Yeah. Oh,
that's awesome.
But I think that's the short-lived part of that. That's where, I love what you said earlier about the fact that it was like, you want to grow organically. You're building something. You're not manufacturing this image. You're not just, dumping money into it just for the simple fact that you think that this is gonna happen. You know, I'm gonna make this happen. Just, you know, I'm gonna force my hand on people, on the consumers. You're listening to consumers. You're doing this in an organic way. You're growing it. Anytime a business grows too fast, where you try to push something, what happens usually?
Shortcuts get taken.
Shortcuts. Not naming any names, but I'm saying you grow too fast. Like in a previous industry I was in, it was the same thing. We wanted about 10% growth every year. That was a good year because you have to have the support staff, you have to have the employees, you have to have the supplies, you have to have everything to do that, to be able to, when people are buying your product, it's a good product. You're not overextending. You're not doing shortcuts, or you're not able to follow through with the service in that industry, or with this. You're not able to follow through. That's great. You all of a sudden HVC cigars are on back order for 6 months. What happens?
People start buying other cigars.
People move on.
Retailers start buying. They're like, well, I can't sit there and have my shelf space empty, because then I'm not making any money off of empty shelves. So if I can't, I'm gonna fill it with something else. And then finally, when those cigars become available, you know, a rep like Canal is going around going, hey, they're back available. Sorry, dude, I already filled your spot. Like, you couldn't give me the product I needed. I need to make money. That's how I stay in business. I had to bring in something that, you know, was going to sell and make money. So
if you, like, with you doing that, with the organic thing, being true to yourself, and I always like a segue, or not even a segue, but just a metaphor for this is that, have you ever known someone that is, I guess, they're so desperate to be in a relationship, right? So they just be whoever the other person wants them to be, or they push too hard. You know what I mean? They're texting all the time. They're calling all the time. They're forcing themselves on the other person. The other person's like, hey, it turns them off, right? It completely, or it's short-lived.
That never ends well.
It never ends well. And I think that's the same thing with business. You know what I mean? You try to force it on them, and you're like, oh, I'm going to really like pound them in social media from a business standpoint. I'm going to really do this all the time. Eventually they're like, all right, this is too much. This is not good. There's a lot of parallels there.
You start becoming something that you're not. You start sacrificing who you are.
You do, and then eventually you come back to who you really are.
Like always,
and now the whole thing's fucked.
Yeah, like, that other person's like, this isn't what I signed up for.
I think like in the business part, like patient and keep working hard because you love it. Can be a lot of good things happening. That's what it is. Be patient, keep working hard, and I mean, like, yeah. That's something that always you have. First, to me, you need the love. Working hard and be patient. I will recommend that, and never give up, never. Because like I say, like I can visit you 100 times, but if the cigar is not really good, you can say to me in my face, Lorenzo, you are a great guy, but these cigars are smokable. I cannot smoke these cigars. And that's something so weird. Listen about this. You need a good palate. And it's so hard for me to explain that always, because to me it's something natural that you're born with. If you don't have a good palate, it will be impossible for you to make great cigars because you don't have it. It's the same thing when you go to a restaurant, their friends say to you, go to this restaurant, they really like it. But 90% of the people that he sent to that restaurant, those people don't like that restaurant. And when you say to your friend, go to this restaurant, he can buy to you and say, that's the best restaurant I ever had in my life.
Yeah.
So always pay attention to that, like the people in the industry, they have a really good palate. That's really important when you're blending a cigar.
I've heard, like with bourbon, like when you drink it, depending on what you've had that day to eat and what you like, if you're tired, you have certain just whatever you're doing, maybe sometimes like the same bottle that you love may taste different certain days. And I'm guessing it's the same with cigars too. I mean, if you're so
it's everything,
like,
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
if anybody ever tells you they don't like it, just have another one and clean your damn palate, and you can.
Well, why we talked about before on the show, where you have someone who's like, oh yeah, I was down in Cancun and bought some Cubans from a guy on the beach, 5 cigars for $20, and it was the best cigar I've ever had. And Steve's like, how many daiquiris did you have at that point?
Yeah.
Like, how drunk were you? Or was it because the environment, you were on vacation, it was warm, you were on a beach, and like things just felt good. It was because of your surrounding. It wasn't necessarily because of what you were smoking or drinking.
Also, the label, the saying that you had a Cuban, you're going to convince yourself that it's a Cuban. So you're gonna
that's why I love doing blind tastings, whether it's with whiskey or cigars. Sit there, no bands, and just, all right, we're going to smoke this or we're going to drink this, and like get feedback. What do you think? And there's a lot of people that get surprised. When I blind pour customers, bottles of wine and stuff, they sit there and like, oh my gosh, it's that. Like, I didn't think I liked anything from that region or that country or that grape or that producer. And it's like, well, that's why I poured it in a glass and didn't tell you what it was. Is because I wanted you to have no preconceived notions whatsoever. I didn't want your own internal bias coming out before you even tried it.
Marketing matters, and it does put that preemptive opinion in someone's mind, whether it's visual, whether it's naming, font style. I mean, all that matters, because if it didn't, everything in the world would be sold just on the merit of whatever the product is. But there's a reason why cigars have boxes and labels. There's a reason that whiskey comes in different packaging. There's a reason why car companies make the badges that they have to put on the front of the car. All of that evokes some kind of a response for whatever reason. So to your point, really the only way to circumnavigate all of that is to do as blind of a tasting as you can, which in whiskey and in cigars and other things, you can only do so much because you're still going to look at it and have some kind of mention. But yeah, to your point, that's the best way to form as honest of an opinion in that moment, is when you don't have the name of the brand, you don't see the box, you don't see the price point, all those kinds of things.
Or don't tell me this got such and such a rating from such and such review. Because I deal with that a ton in the wine industry. It's like, oh yeah, this one got 92 points from this person. And as soon as they say that person's name, I'm like, ah, shit. I don't really line up with that person's palate. I'm probably not going to be as thrilled about this bottle as
and it's there's personal preference in everything. I mean, I worked on the retail side, and I mentioned this too. Like, there are people that'll come in. A lot of, obviously most people here know to some extent that I worked at Jungle Gyms, right? So yeah, I worked in the humidor at Jungle Gyms. People would come in and ask me about a certain thing and go, is this a good cigar? I'll say yeah, or maybe not. And they go, well, do you like it? I go, no, not really. But that doesn't mean that it's a bad cigar. That just means that it's not to my preferences. I love sweet and spicy. I love Korean food. I love Indian food. And you're, someone that doesn't want to be as adventurous and likes things that are typically European with very little salt. You know what I mean? Like, whatever the case may be, like, there's reasons why we have different things that we enjoy. So it's the same with cigars, but that doesn't mean that product is not good or maybe a right fit for that other person. But yeah, like you said, you start finding, especially reviewers that tend to like certain things. And if your palate doesn't align with them, the way that they rate things is not going to match up with the way that you would rate them internally for yourself.
Sure. Do you think that we do? I put a comment up there. We reward appearance more than substance now.
Completely agree. I think as a society, not just, not in cigars. I think as a society.
Yeah,
I think it's growing up. You see something on your plate as a kid, you're like, oh my God, there's no way I can eat that just because of looking at it.
Yeah. It's like, actually, this tastes pretty good.
Yeah.
Like, well, what my wife made for dinner last night, you look at it in the pan, it's like, that doesn't look that appetizing, but then you eat it, and it's like, I want a second bowl of
it. look, Indian food is not the most visually appealing of the cuisines of the world, all right? It doesn't photograph, quite as nicely as some of the things that you'll find at a steakhouse or otherwise. But, that doesn't mean that it's not enjoyable to many of us. But as a society, I think.
Right.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
You being in Cincinnati, I think if you were to pour a bowl of Skyline chili, just the chili itself, and present it to somebody, they'd be like, What is that?
I'm not from Cincinnati, right? I've lived here now longer than I've lived in many places, and I will say I enjoy Cincinnati chili for what it is. Now, I think people get too upset about the verbiage. I don't know that I would call it chili the way that you would expect chili to be. Right. I think only the most iconic diehard Cincinnatian is eating just bowls of straight Cincinnati chili. No one is doing that. I've never seen it done.
You got it over noodles or in a
right. If you call it a coney sauce or you call it a chili cheese dog, no one has an issue with it. And it's very enjoyable for what it is. But yeah, to your point, in a bowl by itself, not visually appealing whatsoever. No.
What do you guys think of this? Ray Chester says everything impacts how something tastes. Ambiance, mood, what else you're eating or drinking. Enjoyment is a mental experience, not physical.
Agreed.
Well, I think that's going off what I said. He was probably typing it as I was saying it, but obviously there's a little bit of delay. But yeah, I think it's coming. He's making the same point that I did. If last year, at Steve's wedding down in the Dominican, if I'd have smoked a cigar from, something down there, I may have had a different opinion of that cigar just because of the experience and where we were and how good of a time we were having. But, if I then, brought a couple of those cigars back home and then smoked them the very next week just on my back patio, I may not have appreciated the cigar the same way or had the same opinion of it.
I think I go to the shop a lot at Tinder Box, and I think from now on, I'm going to see what Steve thinks of this, is like have them get me a cigar, but take the label off and allow me to enjoy it for what it is and not go by the label to see if, because
just even asking your friend, like, hey, one day, like, give me something that you like. Don't tell me what it is, even if it's something you've had before or not. You may even find that you don't like something as much as you thought you did because you have like a mini nostalgic factor about it or whatever you want to call it. Like, oh, I know I like this. So when I smoke it, I'm just mentally expecting to like it. And you may find that it's actually not to your liking as much when you don't know what it is, and vice versa too. I mean, both sides of that tend to happen as well.
Yeah.
I want to say this about what Ray says. I agree completely, but I also think that goes right into the topic. I mean, that is a manufactured experience a lot of times. And I think that's what, Reinier, you were saying, is that it's, it goes back to the actual passion in the product, though. I mean, it's short-lived. I feel like you can paint a pretty picture. You can tell the story. You can put, you can put a cigar in a pretty box. You can put a pretty band on it. You can do all this stuff. You can smoke it in a high-end lounge if you're into that and all this stuff. But you can put a high price tag on it. But I'm of the opinion that once you take a step back and you think about that, if you do, would you go back? Would you go back? That's the thing. Would you go back, and for what reason? Are you going back for the ambiance? Are you going back for the mood? Are you going back for the food? Are you going back for the cigar? Are you going back because you like the band? I think that gets you your first buy. I think that gets you your first visit. You know what I mean? But when it comes down to it, it's do you actually enjoy what you're doing or what you're experiencing or what you're smoking?
You know what happened to me a lot of times? A lot of times, I just want to just be myself and the cigar. I don't want to smoke with anybody. I don't want to I sit down back and just me and the cigar, just pay close attention to the cigar, what the cigar has to say to me, to every detail, every flavor, every nose. Like that, to me, like a lot of times, that's beautiful to me. Just me and the cigar really enjoying the cigar in that moment. Like nothing else.
I think that's kind of the thing with cigars, especially. It's like you can smoke. I'm smoking the hot cake, the golden line right now. After, Kunal and I talked about, we smoked the 2015. Now we're doing this. A lot of times you don't go from a fuller body to a little bit milder. This has got some substance to it. But I think cigars are a big thing. You smoke it on vacation. You smoke it in a lounge. You smoke it among friends. But when you smoke the same cigar in the same experience you're describing, are you enjoying it as much?
Yep.
The actual cigar. Did you enjoy the experience? Did you enjoy the company, or did you enjoy? You can do both. I mean, you can smoke this cigar and you're like, man, I really enjoyed it because we were having good conversation. It was a beautiful day and all that stuff. but you light it up and, you know, say it's a rainy day and you're sitting in a garage and you're just like, you know, I just feel like a smoke. I'm going to light up this hot cake golden line. Do you like it as much?
I would say there's a lot of cigars I've had when I'm outside by the fire. I'm like just having one to have one. And I'm like, yeah, it doesn't have the same. I mean, it's there, but it's not. There's definitely not the same as appealing as if like you said, you're in a different setting. Like I'm just smoking it, but you know, I don't
like really think that's really like for example, when you're talking about pairing, right?
Talking about what?
About
Pairings.
Like pairings with cigar, right? As a human, we have a different completely palate everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of people that like to pairing something with cigars that me personally I don't like. My coffee in the morning, that probably to me gotta be the best. But there is some time, for example, here in Miami, when I want to drink a mojito with a cigar, or a margarita, or something really refreshing, then maybe it's not the best pairing with that cigar. But as a human being, you want to feel that way.
Mm-hmm.
For example, like I'm not a beer guy. And to me, one of the worst pairing ain't a cigar with beer.
Usually.
Yeah.
To me.
Well, IPAs, I think they pair very well with stouts, but
no.
Yeah, stouts are stouts have almost
stouts and Belgian beers pair very well with cigars.
Yeah.
But to your point, yeah, it does. I could tell Reinier, hey, this is the best pairing I've ever had with this HVC hotcake, and it's some Belgian beer, and he goes, well, I don't like the beer. It doesn't matter how good it is. To me, he's not going to like that pairing. So you're getting hung up on the wrong thing.
I do got to ask, Lorenzo, what is the coffee that you drink in the morning?
Espresso.
Usually a really dark espresso.
Okay.
Really dark espresso. I like we say like a Cuban espresso, but basically like the coffee is not from Cuba, and for different part of the world. But I like really dark espresso. That to me in the morning, that's like, let's go. Your first cigar of the day with your first coffee, to me, is one of the best combo out there.
Yes, I love. Yeah.
Yeah.
You think it's because it's fresh palate?
Probably.
Yeah.
I don't know that I don't know why coffee and tobacco pair really well.
You think it's because there's sometimes the same flavor notes to them? Like it's
actually like, for example, the coffee right now, like I say, like probably like 5-6 months ago, I'm drinking my coffee without sugar. I want to really taste the coffee itself, right? The espresso themselves, really hard, really dark, really roasty. With whatever cigar, I got the flavor of the nose.
Mm-hmm.
But you know which one to me I really like as well? Rum.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Rum, a really good rum with cigar to me, that's really good too.
Yep.
And bourbon as well.
Kunal, what were you going to say there?
I was going to say, if you wanted to know kind of why coffee and cigars tend to go pretty well together, I could nerd out about that too. But there's a lot of similarities between, you know, coffee and tobacco, right? Where it's grown, the soil, the altitude, you know, affects the kind of flavors that the coffee is going to have. But in addition to that, coffee is not going to be too strong to overpower the flavor of a cigar, right? So if you have 130 proof Elijah Craig barrel strength and you're trying to smoke what you enjoy, let's say a milder Connecticut, that pairing's probably not going to go that well because that bourbon is going to blitz your palate and you're not going to really taste it. So you have to be a little more particular with how you do that, but you can almost get any kind of coffee that you enjoy and pair it with almost any cigar, and it's not going to fight each other one way or the other. And then there's a lot of similar flavor notes. When you have a dark roast coffee, like a French roast, Italian roast, espresso, you know, that sort of thing, they mention notes of tobacco and those sorts of things. And then cigars, you'll mention a lot of tasting notes of coffee as well. So there's a lot of kind of overlap between those two worlds that tends to marry very well together personally. And I'm an espresso guy too.
Yeah, I drink my coffee black. Espresso, same thing, right? I mean, but everyone likes different takes on that. Let me ask you guys this: when you talk about longevity, so as someone, and I think maybe it comes with age, so sometimes it doesn't take people as long, but have you found that like when it comes to cigars or coffee or whatever, the longer you do it, you kind of zero in on what you like and you care less about what other people think.
100%. 100%.
You know what I compare that to?
Yeah.
I compare it to, so Jerry Seinfeld's a big one on this, right? So you see all sorts of people, but you know what like dad shoes are?
Yes.
Like a classic, like a comfortable,
like New Balance. New Balance.
Obviously
the New Balance.
No, so that's
all white.
So that's something that I found. You know, I wear Chuck Taylors all the time. They're not the most comfortable, but I still like them. Not comfortable enough. But it's funny when I wear a pair of like my Mizuno, like the running shoes or whatever. And they got that. You know, I try to get them in black or whatever, but they have that real thick like white sole on there.
Mm-hmm.
I've been called like dad shoes because you're going for comfort. You know what I mean? Like you care
and function. You know, functional.
You care a lot less on how they look. There's a time and a place to wear like wingtips and such, right? There's the fashion side of it, but I find that the dad shoes, or the older guys, they're like they can be wearing khakis and a button down, and then you look down and they're wearing these like New Balance or Skechers or something that like a running shoe or a walking shoe that they wear them because they don't give a shit, man. They're comfortable. They don't want their feet to hurt. And I feel like cigars sometimes come back the same way, is that you find something that you like and you hone in on that. You're not necessarily like, I don't need to try new ones. I don't need to try all the latest and greatest trends. I saw in the cigar world, when you were going for the nicotine drip and it was like the stronger. And I feel like a lot of the cigar smokers, they'll come back gradually towards like the medium body. They're going for flavor. They're going for construction. They're going for like the dad shoes of cigars. They're going for comfort.
I always tell people like, be open to your palate, because you always can try something new that you never had it before, right? I told everybody like, just be open to your palate, and then you can figure out in the end what you really like.
Yeah.
And I have a lot of people, I am doing an event, and those people like, this is what I like. And I have a lot of respect for those guys. They have been smoking that like 20 years, 10 years, and they really figured out already what they really like. And that's really hard.
I think Steve and I are similar when it comes to cigars, in the sense that because we've worked in the industry for as long as we both have, when something new comes out, or whatever store we're at, brings on something new, we want to give it a try, because as a retailer, you have to know about that cigar so that way you can sell it to consumers, because it looks really bad if a customer walks in like, oh, what's this cigar like? And you're like, I don't know. I've not smoked that. But yet we smoke as many different ones as we can, but we both find ourselves gravitating towards a smaller number of cigars that we smoke consistently, because we really enjoyed those particular cigars, whether it be a brand or a specific blend. Like we'll try whatever's in people will sit there coming in the shop and like, how many of these cigars have you had? And I'll go, well, on a wall of 600 cigars, there's probably less than 10 that I've not smoked. So I've smoked most of what we offer, but I have my preferences of what I always find myself going back to, things that I enjoy. I will try other companies, other brands, other blends, but I have a portfolio of cigars that just keep coming back into my rotation over and over.
I think it comes down to the product, right? I mean, like with HVC, I can tell a story even on the retailer side of it. It's like, oh, what's this one? I haven't heard of HVC. It's like, oh, I tell you what, it's really good tobacco. A lot of it's coming from Agnorsa Leaf, which I love. Their tobacco. The owner, I met him. I can just tell him a story right there. I met him back in like 2015. Really nice guy. Just met him briefly. He was just starting out. He's come in several times. We didn't bring it on for a while, and then we brought it on for the Smoking 10 event. And every time I talk to the owner of this company, it's just the guy is just authentically himself. He's got a lot of passion behind it, and it's just like it comes across in the product.
Yeah.
And I can tell someone that, and like, I'm not even telling your story, but I'm just telling them the truth, like, but a story. again, it comes back to, did you do your part making this product that once I get them to buy the first one, I've got some other people in this industry. There's other things that, you know, you like the image of, if you will, but I mean, it's a great, I guess, metaphor for a lot of other things in life that a lot of consumables. I like other people in this industry, but like what you were saying, Kunal, when someone comes in, you know, do you like it? And you're like, yeah, not really. I always kind of say it a little bit nicer. I say it's like, it's not for me. I can tell when a cigar, the blender and I don't have the same palate, because every time it comes out, I like the guy, I like the person, and I've had a great experience dealing with them. They're very pleasant, and then they hand you their latest and greatest blend, and you smoke it, and I'm like, still not the same palate, man.
Yeah,
right.
I want to like this. I want to like this product, and it's just something's missing. But I think that's where it comes down to it. But I'll still say that, like, it's not for me, but a lot of people like it. You know, it's a popular one. But I think with this whole built not manufactured, that's where I think the purity behind, you know, HVC and Reinier Lorenzo is like, there's you are the story at this point of this. They listen to a podcast like this, or they listen to someone like, you know, just average Joe working in a cigar shop saying, you know, hey, I met the guy, super nice guy, I really like him, and you know, the best thing is that I really enjoy the cigars. The construction's great. You know, he puts a lot of passion behind it from A to Z on this. So I hope you like it. It's not a guarantee that they're going to like the cigar, but it will build that identity. I mean, it's always people buy from people they like the story, they like, and if it's just a story, that always shines through. If it's just a story, again, going back to if you named it Lorenzo Cigars, it's like,
yeah,
what is this?
Even as a you know, a customer at that shop, I try to go as often as I can, and I end either from out of town or that I may have seen here and there, and I usually end up starting a conversation with them, and then they ask, you know, what cigars do you like? And I'm kind of like you, Lorenzo. If I believe in something, I'm very passionate about it. And like people that I talk to now, like, what do you do? I'm like, cigars and bourbon. Anything you want to know? And all of a sudden I start giving them like some samples. Like if they, you know, I have a guy I work with now, I ship him things, and he's real excited about it. But like you come up a lot when I talk to him because of me meeting you, trying your cigar, number one, but like just being able to hear you on the stage and the brief times I got to say hello and everything. And then after tonight, it's even going to be more.
You're buying more HVC.
I'm going to be an HVC rep for you, whether they want me to or not. But like,
hey, wait. He's already got one of those. Let's let's pull the brakes a little bit.
I'm coming from
he's an ambassador.
Thing. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. I like that word better.
Yeah. But there's, I mean, obviously, I'm not going to say HVC all the time. I'm going to tell them things I like, but I will always bring up that because your passion allows me to express that passion that I have about things if I believe in it. So you being who you are and don't, you know, I also promote egg and oyster leaf and everything.
No. It's not about that. It was only jokes.
But yeah. So, but you're one of those that like, it's easy for me to say, and it's newer. And so I even throw that on. Hey, it's the newer one that's been in the shop. Get this one, please. Just try it. And then sometimes, well, if I really have a good conversation with them, I'll buy them one and say, try it.
I think you guys also have established, you know, at Tinder Box Easton there, that not only the store identity, but all the people that are involved there, you know, you guys stand behind what you say and people know that. So if you're telling them something, there's a reason for it. There's a reason why the brand was brought into the store. There's a reason why certain cigars within the catalog of the company were brought in. So I think a lot of especially the regulars have come to know, and that's why they trust you guys. Like, yeah, okay, maybe not every single one is going to be a slam dunk home run out of the park, but they know that you're standing behind it for a reason. And that, you know, reputation that you all have established for yourselves and in your rapport with the people that are coming in. And that's why they're talking to you and not just going on the Amazon of cigars.com and buying anything that they can buy for as inexpensively as possible, you know, whether or not there's validity to what is being advertised or not, you know what I mean? So there's all of that is, you know, authenticity built, not manufactured. You have built that relationship. You have built that rapport. You have built that, kind of social contract between yourself and the other people that are coming in, that they can trust that you are saying this with merit for a reason and not just for the sake of it.
Yeah.
So that's kind of why there's at my main job, there's a joke sometimes I'll tell with customers when they're looking for a recommendation, especially on a whiskey. And, I ask them a bunch of qualifying questions, what do you like? What do you don't like? Why? And all that stuff. And I'll recommend a product. And, sometimes so you say this is good. And sometimes I joke with people. I go, if you don't like it, or if the person you're buying for doesn't like it, bring it back to me and I'll drink it at no additional charge.
There you go. See?
But that's the reaction I get. I always get people that chuckle and laugh at that.
Still haven't gotten a free bottle.
It just breaks down the skepticism.
That's the other part I say is, you laugh, but no one's ever brought me back a bottle.
Do you
do have a cigar still? They had smoke it halfway.
Yes.
Yeah. Do you
Top inch off.
do you sell online?
I was going to ask the same question. I was thinking about that.
There's a reason I asked this question.
We sell to people that do sales online.
Cigarpage.com or any of those.
No, we don't do any business with Cigar Page.
But you sell to, you sell to wholesalers and
yeah, we sell to people that sells online.
So here's my question for you. When you see a description, right, online, right, you're not dealing with brick and mortar. You're not, you don't talk to me where it's like I met him and he blah 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 everything I said. What's the info that you give them as far as a description of HVC cigars? Because I'm curious how you, with everything you said tonight, you can't fit everything you said tonight, obviously, in 2 paragraphs on a CI or whatever.
For us, it's more like
what's the story?
People, they are really big online. Always the thought that we are gonna, you cannot do the HVC more than 10% off.
What's that now?
Always when I sell to the big guys, they sell online. Always we have the agreement that you cannot sell HVC more than 10%.
Oh, so you're not going to mark it up super high.
So I get that part. My question is that when I click on the hot cake, right? So if I'm doing this, right, and you say, all right, well, this is what I want the description to say for HVC cigars.
I mean,
what's the elevator speech? You got 60 seconds or whatever. They're reading something. Are they reading about you? Are they reading about the HVC name? What are they reading about?
It's more like 2 things. You got the HVC history, and you got the product history.
Okay.
It's completely 2 different things.
Are you involved in the HVC history on that little?
No, I am involved in everything.
Okay.
Because the HVC is a history as a company. But remember, I'm not putting cigar there every month. To me, to come out with a cigar has to be a history behind. Something that I want to do for that brand specifically. The other thing is the blend.
Yeah.
It's a lot of things when you go out there. Because that's for me, like I say, like for example, the one I'm talking about, the new one, La Decoración. La Decoración is a really old Cuban brand. And when I see the name, I say, I really like this. I love this project. Why La Decoración in English is the decoration. It's all Havana, like back in the days. You can see that in the bags. I can talk to G about that. I can talk to everybody about that product. That's what I want to have when you're talking about the product and the history of the product. The same white hat cake. It's 2 different things because the history of the company is one thing. Hey, HVC, that's Reinier Lorenzo. That's the guy that is building that company. Well, but white hat cake. White hat cake, that's a brand. They hit dirty because this, because that. It's 2 different things over there. And the other things is the blend.
Right. I guess
the easy part for us is to come out with a cigar every day. I don't need that.
I guess my curiosity is how much involvement in the story of HVC when you say click on it or say half wheel or
the description.
What's that?
No, you're talking like the description. Like if I click on the brand to look at the products that the website has, and there's the description of HVC to convey to me as a consumer in that paragraph why I should care about HVC when no one is there to tell me about it.
That's the question, because I think that with HVC again, there could be a confusion versus the built after hearing you tonight, right? Or if people have the opportunity to meet you versus the manufacturer at Havana City. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, of course it's Havana City because it's Cuban and all that stuff. What is that? Why are people buying HVC if they've never met you? Are you involved in the description when people are talking about HVC, there's a paragraph about the company? Is it about you? Is it about a little bit of why you did this? Or is it more about, it's an ode to, like the 500 that you put out there, it's the 500th
it's
anniversary.
Like, it's when you look that way, it's the combination of everything.
Okay, good.
I'm looking at the cigar page and I'm looking at yours and what they say. Well, this particular, like usually people look for a particular cigar. So when you open up, for example, the HVC 10th anniversary, it'll say celebrating HVC's 10th year of business. This limited edition releases roll with a Corojo 99 wrapper, Nicaraguan binder leaf, and Nicaraguan long filler, spicy notes of red pepper, and cedar medium to full. So I think there's that part where you want to know the history, but a lot of people are going to look and see, okay, all right, what's this have to offer? They want to know the flavors, the flavor profile. They want to know how strong it is, I think. But also, they're usually selling the cigar itself in terms of whatever it is to tell them like this is what this is all about. And so you can say, the consumer can look at it and say, okay, well, it's got these notes and stuff like that. I guess I have to look further into this and see if there's like an HVC page that would describe more of what your history and how it all started. Just look up one.
I know sometimes you have interviews with, the different publications and stuff like that you've done over the years. And it's just, it is something that, how do you translate that, as far as the whole thing that you're building and everything, like how do you summarize that? Like how much, when will there be a point where Reinier Lorenzo is HVC? Like people know you, because that I feel like what you've put behind all of this stuff, HVC, that kind of brief description is kind of like it's kind of dime a dozen type thing, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah, but that type of description was like they see all the pages and then was like copy and paste it.
That's what, you don't
all like that. I understand.
And you don't have control over that.
But when you go to other things, that page, cigar page, is the perfect example. We don't do any business with them.
It's a sketchy one, I think.
I don't have any idea where they came out with that from.
Yeah, they cut and paste it, right?
So it's more like when you go to probably like other things, you will probably go more involved in that for sure.
Perfect. Yeah. On JR's, it has your, a little bit of your story on there.
No, it's like I say, when you go to other, it's like they know more because like the relationship business that we have with them.
Yeah.
Like for example, if you sell online, now you know everything about HVC today, right? Because this interview, like you can talk to your consumers in that way. In that particular case with those guys, it's more like click here, copy, and pass it over there. And we don't know cigar page for a long time. Like,
no, they do some things that
I've heard quite a few things about
really
what cigar page does.
They get a lot of, I think, letters of like stop doing what you're doing from different manufacturers.
Yeah. They do.
For that thing, sometimes it would be so hard at some point a manufacturer to control that. Because like I say, probably you can go there and you can see like I say to you guys, we don't do any business with them. Right? And they have some HVC, some HVC over there. Where did they get them from? No idea.
A wholesaler that you did business with, most
likely. No idea. They can call somebody there over there and say, send me just 2 boxes because I want to have it.
Interesting.
Well, I think with the topic at hand and what we're talking about here is that with the built not manufactured thing, I'll kind of frame this and you guys can kind of just round out about what we talked about and everything else. But when I think of HVC cigars, I think it's a great example of the more you know about it. Obviously, it comes down to the product itself, right? Everything that you're actually lighting up and smoking, just like any other product, any other thing in life. But what you're building, not built, you've built so far, but what you're building,
I mean,
it matches, in my opinion. I'm of the opinion that it matches the product, right? There is an authenticity there that you meet the person behind it, because any product, cigars especially, you can put a name on it, you can put a box around, around the cigar, the band's on the cigar, you can do all this stuff, come up with a clever name and all that stuff, and you can even have a good cigar. But I think the ones that really outshine, there are a lot of consumers out there that they don't care about the story, they don't care about who makes it, they just want to make sure, like the dad shoes, right? They don't care how it looks, they just want to make sure that they're comfortable in it, and that's fine. They want to enjoy what they're doing. But I think that what really sets things apart, what sets people apart, is the consistency of the authenticity of start to finish. I always say people buy from people they like. And I think that's really what sets it apart. The more I've gotten to know you in the brief interactions that we've had, as Sean was saying, it gives more identity. You can smoke any cigar. You can buy any shoe. You can buy any bourbon. You can buy, you like it. But what really, when Ray Cheshire had that comment up there, you buy because you go to a place for the ambiance, the mood, and everything else. That's the thing that really sets consumables apart from others. You can go to a restaurant and it's great food, but the service sucks, right? You're not going to go back most likely. Some people do, but you're not. I waited 2 hours for it. The food is great, but my God, it was just like painful to sit there. The server didn't come back for 20 minutes. I'm sitting there. I needed a glass of water and all that stuff, all of that. But it's like when it comes down to it, it's a start to finish thing where it's like when you're truly building something like what you've done, the authenticity is the most important part of it. Because you could even make great cigars and then people meet you. You're like, that guy's an asshole. He didn't talk to me. He just kind of sat in the corner. He just looked like he didn't want to be there. It's like, I like the cigars, but like, I'm not going to support that. There's other cigars out there. You know what I mean? It's just Tinder Box. Same thing. Yeah, you can buy cigars from anywhere. You can buy online, but you can also go into a shop that you feel comfortable with. You trust the staff. You trust the quality of the product that's coming out of there that you pay your hard-earned money for. But I think that's the kind of like all the way from the beginning to the end of what we're doing here. And I think that's something that has really impressed me with you and HVC Cigars, is that it just the more interaction that people have, or the more in-depth knowledge of a company, that's truly where that's where you get the lifelong customers. That's where you get the lifelong relationships, and you commit your own time, your money, your experiences, you commit everything that you have to something because of it's not just a manufactured story or whatever. It's just people trying to make a buck. There's the passion, and that you're authentically yourself about it. That's what I love about this. And that's kind of where you guys go with wherever you want with the closing remarks on that.
Yeah, I'll jump in real quick. I'd say there's probably, me being newer, and it's sad that I say that I'm newer, but I've been doing it for so damn long. But in terms of going to Tinder Box, I kind of know what I'm going to get, know what I'm looking for. But like anytime I travel on business or I go somewhere else, even in the city, I'll look at certain cigars and I'll have a way of like, I see it and then like in my head, I think of, maybe I like it because of the flavor, but then like I go by, there's only one other person I can think of that's almost as passionate as you are. And so when I see theirs and yours, it kind of almost brings a smile to my face. It's like this, like I go through and like, yeah, there may be something new I never tried. Like I was in California, they have way different kind of cigars. They don't necessarily sell in the Midwest, but there will be places that I will go to and I'll see them. And if I come across yours, it's always like, even though I've like could go into the shop and buy something like I've never tried before, and maybe I will, but I always will buy, like if I see yours from now on, that'll be a staple for me. And same with the other guys, because there's great, like Steve said, great cigars, and they manufacture it great and it tastes good, but there's something almost wholesome about looking when I see your brand and the other persons that like I know how hard they work and make it happen. So like to me, it's like it's a no-brainer to pick those cigars. You know, no matter what I'm getting, it's kind of a staple for me, based on the passion and knowing the history behind those cigars. So I appreciate the opportunity to be on the show tonight to speak to both of you, and being able to learn more. Each time I'm on the show, I learn so much, but just tonight's been another like huge jump in terms of learning about the passion of the cigar, and it just sheds a new light on me. So I appreciate you guys for who you are and being in the industry and making an impact like you do.
Thank you.
Yeah. Nate, you want to go?
Well, one of the things that's really stuck with me tonight is, as Sean talked, as we've talked about, like your passion, but not just the passion you have, but to grow organically. Because recently we saw, in the last 5 years, we saw a big cigar boom, kind of reminiscent almost of the cigar boom from the 90s, where you had just anyone with money just buying tobacco, making a cigar, slapping a label on it, charging, $10-12 30 years ago for a cigar. But then when that boom started to fizzle, most of those brands never survived. And they didn't survive because the product they were putting out did not match the price point that they were demanding. And people realize really quickly, especially when something as organic as this, and how involved with all the senses you have to be for this product, there's a lot of consumers that are smart enough to know when something's not good, when something's not done well. And so 30 years ago, you saw a lot of brands pop up, and then within 10 years 80% of those brands were gone. You never hear from them ever again. Why? Because they were just catching in on a fad. They were just trying to make a quick buck. Mm-hmm. So with you sitting there saying, no, I've got a small factory, I've got 46 people that work for me, I've got 8 pairs of rollers, like that's it, I've got 8 brokers, that's all I work with. You're sitting there, you're wanting to build what you have, sell what you have, not try to grow too quickly, because you don't have the capacity to be able to do that right now. Obviously, down the road, you would love to be able to get to the point where you expand, you have more people, you make more cigars, you're in more retailers, but your main focus is the cigar itself. You're not going to just put a cigar out on a shelf to make money. You want to actually put something that you're going to stand behind, because it's your reputation, because you've also made that your passion. And so that's one of the things you're sitting there not, playing the long game. Like, I want this to be something that people remember, and 20 years from now, people are still smoking HVCs. Hopefully more people are smoking them, but I'm going to do it the right way and, make a quality product first, get it into the hands I can, but sell to those people that want the stuff, not just trying to sit there and force my way into the market and, saturate the market more than, what the product demands.
I will say you need to make a commercial like you narrating it, and get some camera crews in there, make it real authentic, and then just that voice you've got, and panning out into the fields and in the factory, and I can see it now, buddy.
And at the end, it's this big, like, let's go.
Just walking through, your hand touching the tobacco, rustling in the wind as you kind of walk through.
Yeah.
Oh, gladiator style. Yeah.
Thank you. That was the exact scene that I had pictured, doing with the fields of grain.
I want to say thank you to you guys. Thank you for having me. It's been wonderful. And congratulations, because I talked to Kunal this. I was so impressed for the first time when I was there at your event, the way that you guys doing that event, so organized. I was really impressed with. Big congratulations to you guys. Keep doing that. It was amazing. And I was really impressed by how you guys operate with that. So congratulations and that for you guys.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. And thank you guys for the support. And like I say, my plan B is plan A gotta work. So
plan A's gotta work.
So thank you guys. Thank you for having me. I gotta wake up like 5 a.m. I gotta catch my flight at 6:30 in my way to New Jersey for 2 events.
Safe travels.
It was a pleasure for me to be here. with you guys, sharing my story, my love for the premium cigars. It's been really amazing so far.
Yeah,
absolutely.
We're excited to watch it happen.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you guys very much. Happy Whiskey Wednesday. Safe travels to you. Hopefully, we'll see you soon. And we're looking forward to trying the new cigar. Absolutely.
Thank you. Y like I always say, dale que lo quiero de corazón. Dale. Kunal, you explained today that. What is that? That's always saying in Spanish. Like when I make my videos here and there, I always say like, dale que te quiero de corazón. Dale in Spanish language is like something like, let's go. And I always love you with the heart.
Nice.
Like that.
Dale que te quiero, but you got to say in Spanish. Dale que te quiero de corazón.
Te quiero de corazón.
De corazón. I always love you with the heart.
I'll put that on one of your boxes for sure.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next time I'm in town, you guys have some of these coming your way.
Yeah, give me this some of the decoración.
Fantastic.
I just got the box. Just got the box. They're smoking great, even in this humidity. So they're coming your way next time I'm in town.
Hell yeah.
Please do. Please do.
Thank you, guys.
Right. Thank you, guys. Cheers.
Cheers.
Okay.
Ding. Ding. Here, I'll cheers you with my butane.
Good to see you, Kunal.